Hey guys, welcome back. For kind of a sad video, a little bit. If you just watched my last video, which thank you if you did, I did a little bit of math to realize that I probably don't have a chance of getting my Ford F-150 Lightning until maybe 2023, and even that might be a stretch. Even though I'm probably like in the 50 to 60,000 range, which I thought was a good number to be, there's just no chance, right? I think so. So with that news and knowing that, does it make sense to get a Model Y instead? And now I know what you're thinking. Whoa, that's not even close to a truck. Why would you be considering that? Well, for me anyways, let me explain. So right now I have a Grand Cherokee, right? It's a pretty big SUV. It does the job. I absolutely love it. It's a great car. But I really do want to switch to an electric car. When you look at the options of something that might be comparable to a Grand Cherokee, well, one, I don't think I can afford a Model X, and there's really nothing else. The ID4 just is like, I don't know, it just is so small. The Ioniq actually looks pretty cool, but still probably too small. And it just comes down to, well, the Model Y actually has the exact same, just maybe like 1 cubic feet smaller, I think, than my Grand Cherokee. So as soon as I learned that, I was like, oh shoot, man, life would be basically the same, except I'd have a cool electric car. So knowing that, I threw it back into my rotation. But all along, I still just want the Ford F-150 Lightning, or the Cybertruck, but we all know that's probably never going to happen. Is it looking dark? Again, this is just going to be a very basic like pro and con list of like, hey, maybe a Y might actually be a suitable option while I wait for, the dream trucks to be built by the EV gods. Oh, dear Mr. Ford and Mr. Tesla, please give me a Cybertruck and a Ford F-150 just oh so soon, please, so I can have it. Thank you. So my overall strategy, here's what I'm going to do, right? So if you're in my same boat, I do want to wait until I'm allowed to price out the Ford F-150 Lightning before I go ahead and make my Model Y order, which is tough because it's already pushed out till January. But at least you'll get it in January, right, for the Model Y, whereas if I do the F-150 Lightning, I could price that out and build it. And based on all those factors that I mentioned in that other video, it could be forever. I could wait 2 years before it's actually built. And you wouldn't really know until you spend a month after ordering it. And then you talk to your dealer and then they're like, hey, maybe you have to step down a trim or up a trim. Otherwise, you're not getting your truck. That could suck. I don't want to really be there. Whereas a Model Y is a sure thing. That's like the biggest reason right there. Like, well, why wouldn't you start with that? Well, the reason I wouldn't start with that is there's still that chance, there's that little chance that if I pick the right Ford Lightning and get in there at the right time, I could still make the deadline and get one. So that's why this is so tough to me. So pros for the Model Y, my eyeline, I'm reading off of this. So sorry. I'm just going to read what I wrote here. So one, the timeline is known. Right? You know that you'll have to wait. I just said that right now until January. By the time I order one, probably February. But at least right? That they're going to be pretty close to the timeline. Sure, it might be delayed a little bit, but at the most, it's like an extra, 3 weeks or something. So that's a really good pro to me. Whereas you have that like mystery around the F-150 Lightning. No, let's just talk real quick about. Sorry, putting my computer down. But let's just talk about like the reliability / like knowing Tesla versus like Ford's like basically second like official EV car. Like there's the other, I think there's like a Fusion model or whatever, but like it goes Mach-E and then of like a real electric competitor. It was the Mach-E and then now it's the F-150. So like, yes, they're going to do great. Like obviously they have way more checks and balances than Tesla would have. So that's like a really good pro for them. But like still the charging network for one, like, yes, again, there's, like you could counter argue this all day, but it's pretty much a fact. You can't beat Tesla's network right now, not until they open it up for other cars, which I just heard was postponed another year. And with that, like the tech is solid, right? Like Tesla's been doing it. It's like driving an iPad, right? It's cool. Whereas, I did another video all about like how the F-150 really isn't for tech guys. So someone like me who wants the car mostly because it's a cool electric car and I'm into technology, I like that kind of stuff. So I have to spend a lot more on the F-150, where standard in every Tesla is pretty badass infotainment and just all the technology you could dream for. The phone is a key. Like that's just all standard on a Tesla. That is the Tesla. Like you get a Tesla. That is, I don't know. Maybe I'm putting it a bit on a pedestal, probably, but so is everyone else. Okay, here's one that's like just pertaining to me is, well, I love moonroofs. I've wanted one on a car forever, and I don't have it now. And I want the big panoramic one. The F-150 has a great moonroof, but the Tesla has one standard. That's not going to cost me anything extra. And it's one of the best ever. It's that big, long one that goes over the whole ceiling. Like, come on. That's so cool. And then my last, like, pro towards doing the Model Y here is the pricing is pretty solid, I think. Like, you know what you're gonna get, and like there's let me dumb it down, like the pricing window, let's say, right? So the Ford F-150, there's basically a $50,000 range, and it's like pretty, I'm gonna go back to tech, but like tech dumb at like that $40,000 range, and then at the $90,000 range you get everything. Whereas Tesla, there's, even if you include like the autopilot add-on, there's no more than a $20,000 upgrade window. So like where on Ford, you have to like maybe even spend up to like $50,000 to get the best of the best. The Tesla, it only goes up, like 15 to 20K for the highest upgrade. I think that's a really important thing to think about, because you can get like the best of the best and still be cheaper than the best of the best at that F-150. Two totally different cars. I get that. But when you're comparing them, it's something to think about. Before I move on, there's an argument to be made that like the Model Y has gone up in price. They got rid of the standard model. Those are two things that actually bum me out a little bit, because the standard would probably have been good for me and been a lot more affordable. But at the same time, the mid-range, like I've priced it out a bunch and it's like 53,000-ish for what I want. Okay, sorry, closer to 55,000, because I'm really just going to add a tow hitch, and then I've been going back and forth on if I want like any color upgrades or anything. Like I kind of want the black interior that comes standard. I don't know. That's a whole nother video. So another thing that it'll come down to is like, hey, knowing that like the 55K Model Y, like what is the 55K Ford F-150 Lightning? What will that look like? How will they stack up? I can't wait to do a video on that, because that'll be really, really interesting to see. So if I haven't talked you into a Model Y yet, but at this point, I probably won't, because now I'm going to get into the pros of the F-150. Now, I think one of the biggest pros goes back to something I was just talking about price, is like, there's a chance, even if you have to wait, at least with the Lightning, you can probably get a cool electric car with some, features here and there for under 50K. If they allow some upgrades to the Pro model and you get like a pretty souped up Pro, man, you could get a pretty sick car for under $50,000, or 55, let's say. So, if they were both on the table right now, my guess is like you can probably get a little more for your money, car wise. Again, that whole technology argument is a different argument, but I don't know. Now, a huge no-brainer pro is just the room and practicality of a truck. Like, beats the Y any day. Of course, you get tons of cab room. There's all the room for your family. The trunk space on the Lightning. Are you kidding me? The front trunk, it's stupid perfect. That's why I want it, right? It's a perfect car in a lot of ways. And then not even to mention, like, you don't even need the bed of the F-150 to like beat the Y almost, but like you have a whole bed for storage too. So like, yes, I want it. One good argument, I saw this on, it was like a Lou is his name Lou later, unbox therapy video, along with Peter McKinnon. It was like the first F-150 video I saw, and he had a good point of like, it's not like a head turner where like Tesla, like I agree with that. I don't want to be like the douche in a Tesla of like, oh, that guy's got a Tesla, I'm sure he calls it his Tesla all the time. Like, I agree with that. I don't want to be that guy. So that's another reason why I want the F-150. It's like less of a head turner while still getting like a cool electric car, you know? And I love that middle ground about it, you know? And then a counter argument to the Pro I had for the Tesla, where I was saying like, there's not a lot of upgrades and that's a good thing, which it is. But if you want all the customizations, you want to be able to like build it out, like that's a... Okay, so this last point is kind of like an unknown, but I want to talk about like selling it afterwards. Like, let's say you only had the car for 2 years. What can you, like, we know Teslas right now, you can buy a Model Y and sell it a week later and make a profit. That's insane. I don't know if you can do that on the Ford Lightning. My guess is with how little they're planning on making right now, you can. So luckily, either way, you're going to hold the value. But that'll be an interesting pro and con down the road when we know a little more. And then, you know, the final pro to a Lightning that might be also a con on the Y is like, well, the Y has gone up 4K in the last year. The price changes without knowing, and it's like due to supply or whatever it might be. Can't get parts or too many people ordering it. That could happen again. So like that could void everything I'm saying. Like it's not a cheap car, as we're saying. Like it's like $55,000 roughly. So, you know, who knows what could happen at that point, you know, but also fingers crossed, maybe by the time I'm ready to order, you're ready to order, the price could go back down. And then that makes this really tough. Imagine if the, hi Emma, imagine if the Y gets back down below 50K. That I'm leaning a little towards that almost. So I know there's a bit of rambling, a little bit of this, a little bit of that, but hopefully maybe just talking it out, you learned a little bit, or you empathize with me because you're in the same situation. Either way, I appreciate you guys watching and look forward to more. I look forward to more videos, and I hope you do too. And thank you and bye. My baby and wife are making fun of me.